I don't own a regular Mack diecast, and honestly, I'm not really sure why. Typically, I don't really collect haulers unless I really want them. I've skipped on many different haulers over the years, but even when I was buying every hauler a few years ago, I always skipped over Mack for some reason. I think it's partially because Mack is a character that's released every single year, so I never really felt like I was in a rush to buy him. Haulers are, multiple times the price of a regular Cars diecast single, and I would rather get a new unique hauler than spend that same money on Mack, who's always out. I think that was my mentality back then, but nowadays I still don't have a regular Mack, and I haven't bought one because it's just kind of become a running joke on the channel. Like, yeah, I have a lot of cars, but I don't have a regular Mack. Whoa! I do have a few plastic Macks. I have Jocko Flocko, and more recently, I picked up Cars 2 Mack because, again, more interesting hauler I would rather spend my money on. So I think that counts as a normal Mack now, right? Because that is a normal Mack. It's just a unique variant that you don't see on screen all that often. Well, regardless of whether or not you count Cars 2 Mack as a regular Mack, I now technically have a regular Mack, or at the very least, the front half of him. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Cars 3 Mack cab. This was sent over to me by my good friend Robin Tailspider, who found it and 29 other cars at a flea market that he sent to me last month for my birthday. He got an absolute ton of duplicates of cars that he already had, one of which was a Cars 3 Mack cab, so he sent it my way, and now I have a Cars 3 Mack cab in my collection. When it comes to Mack, I would much rather just have the full hauler. One of these days, I'm going to go out and buy a Cars 3 Mack. I know I have to. One of these days, I'm going to go out and buy a Cars 1 Mack the next time he's re-released. I definitely have to go get Cars 1 Mack, because it's been a long time since we've seen him. But in the meantime, I now have the Cars 3 Mack cab in my collection, finally. Now you can see that this Mack is a little bit scuffed up, most prominently on the grille. I wonder if my silver paint could cover that up. I'm not entirely sure, but honestly I don't really mind because this is an item that I wouldn't have gone out of my way to get on my own, and I was sent it for free from Robin, who bought it for very, very, very cheap. He got 80 cars for €7.50. So, this was somebody else's item that a friend of mine got for insanely cheap and then sent to me over for free as a gift. I certainly don't mind it being a bit damaged, especially when it's an item that I probably wouldn't have gotten any other way. Anyway, we've got the Rusty's logo on the cap here, of course, always the same for Mack, except in the first movie he does have a white backing for the cap, which just makes it look a bit more like a hat. I really, really like this expression for Mack. I think it suits the character really well, and I certainly prefer it over the other Mack expressions we've gotten over the years. A lot of Macks have kind of smaller eyes, and I think he just looks better with slightly larger pupils there. We've, of course, got the Mack logo there on the grille, which, again, has some chipping on it. You could also see a bit of a scuff up here. Again, I don't have a problem with that at all. Mack written on the side there. The 95 with the lightning bolt surrounded in flames. Of course, a design exclusive to Cars 3 Mack. Technically, I actually did buy a Cars 3 Mack, but I repainted it into my Ties Cars 4 Mack. I actually filmed a full review of that, and for whatever reason, I deleted the footage before I could upload it. So, sorry. But again, one of these days, this has really inspired me to go out and just get a Mack. I really have to bite the bullet on that. While preparing what to say at the beginning of this review, I was like, okay, I'll start by talking about how I don't own a Mack. And then I just sat down and I was like, wait, why don't I have Mack? Wait, that's weird. Why have I skipped Mack for 7 years? So I'm going to have to get on that. On the back, one of my favorite details about Mack is his Rusty's mud flaps. It looks like one of these logos was a bit misapplied. Rusty's there on the license plate, and it seems that Mack comes from Our Fair City, which is a really funny name for a city. Where do you live? Our Fair City. Okay, but where? I live in Our Fair City. Okay, but what is that? There's a look at the other side, which of course is going to be completely identical. And finally, there's a look at the base. In case you were wondering, Mack, of course, is a combination of metal and plastic. This main body part is metal, hat is plastic, and the whole base is plastic. And of course, since he is a hauler cab sold on his own, the back here is plugged up and can't connect to other haulers, which looks pretty good. It looks just like how an actual semi-truck looks in real life with their hitch, but unfortunately, it doesn't mean you can't connect Mack to any other trailers. And once again, a look at the base. You can see this is made in China. You could tell it's not his Thailand variant just yet. Most of the cars Robin sent me were from 2016 or 2017. Even the Dragon McQueen that I reviewed the other day was his 2017 release, which over here is pretty rare, but Robin said where he is in the Netherlands, it was actually a fairly common item, so I could only assume that this Mack was picked up when he first came out in 2017, or maybe early 2018, going off of the other cars I was sent. I think it's pretty fun to see that most of the cars that I was sent, that Robin found from this person's collection, were from around 2016 or 2017, and you could kind of get a picture of this person's collection before they sold it off to Robin, who then sent, you know, a third of it to me. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.